Hi, my name's Thomas O'Connor. I'm 39 years old. I was diagnosed with HIV in January of 2006. I believe that, the AIDS virus has come about as a way to teach us to expand our awareness of love for ourselves. And definitely being a homosexual male, that has been something that's been a little bit of a difficult journey. My T-cell count now is at a point where they say I have full-blown AIDS. So, and I've been living with that same perception for 2 years. I've adopted a holistic approach to the whole thing. When I first got diagnosed, I saw a natural doctor, and he gave me a lot of vitamins that worked, interestingly enough, on my thymus. It's just as significant as medication, but I think medication, look around at other people, and I see it as being very harmful. The doctors, they always say, you need to take medication because, eventually you're going to get sick. And I said, well, why would I want to put a Band-Aid on something that isn't there? I feel like at some point I'm going to transcend the diagnosis. If you keep identifying something as being there, then you'll perpetuate the existence of it. I haven't told my family basically because I don't. They really haven't really communicated interest to me as far as my love life and all that's concerned. So I've and I have a very distant relationship from my family, which could be indicative of the diagnosis as well. I was studying to be a priest when I was 20 and left the seminary, and so religion and the feeling of guilt has all been compounded and a part of my existence. And I would have to say it's only been recently, in the last maybe year and a half, that I've really come into a sense of acceptance of myself and stopped thinking in terms of what I was told was right and wrong. And so as far as contracting the disease goes, I think it stems from my inability to love myself. And that, of course, is communicated and most directed towards, it was unsafe sex, probably at a bathhouse. I don't speak of it a lot, and the only times I really have to bring it up is, of course, when I'm with somebody and, potentially to have a relationship with them. Recently, I was with somebody and we went home together, and he didn't use a condom and I didn't tell him, and so the next day when we had dinner, I was like, I need to let you know that, I'm positive. And I said, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. And I said, but it's not my fault either. I go, because you decided not to use a condom too. So we both share in the responsibility. I may never be in a relationship again, with somebody in a committed relationship, and that's okay as well. When they told me, I wasn't really, traditionally, people, you would imagine people would freak out or be distraught. I was pretty much at a very big turning point in my life, and I feel like, it was a marker for me to be aware of and to give myself more respect and personal care than I had previously, been always looking for the external acceptance of others, things like that. Regardless of what I do or don't do, just by my existence and the fact that I breathe is all the worth that I need to have. It's not the symptom, it's the symptoms communicating something on a deeper level. Exploring energy work, I think, is where I'm really interested in going with it. And I'd rather be kind of a guinea pig for that. I mean, that gives me a little bit of passion and focus in my life, which is, I think, what I want the most. So I'd rather die and appear to be the fool, or be successful and change the direction of things.